Hey everyone, welcome to this week's conversation and welcome to our brand new outdoor studio in beautiful Southwest Florida, where I have the pleasure of welcoming back one of my favorite guests from 2025. That's right, he joined us last September. We had a great conversation then, and he is living proof, as I mentioned back then, that it's never too late is not just a motto. He is living proof that you can put things into action, chase your dreams, and they will come true. So without any further ado, I'd love to welcome back to the conversation, Christopher Wyze. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Bill. It's an honor and a pleasure to be back, especially your first guest in
Yeah,
that new cool looking studio there. I'm not going to call that a studio. That looks like fun.
it really is. And at some point, I'd love to have guests over, and then we could like maybe take a dip or something after the show. But I also, folks, I have to say one of the things that I'm going to try to do with this new version of the show, if you will, from the new location, is be a little more laid back. Hence the more relaxed shirt. But I have to say thank you to Chris publicly because we had all kinds of internet issues. And as it turned out, it wasn't my studio or anything because I tried the
Mm.
indoor and the outdoor. There was a service outage in the area. So I believe in full transparency. So we rescheduled it. And I just want to thank you, Chris, for your flexibility and patience and hanging in there with me today.
I'm glad I get to be on the show. That's what it amounts to, man.
Yeah. Yeah. The show must go on. And one way
It
or the
has
other,
to.
we were going to do it. Now, before we talk about this exciting reissue of your songs, "Soul on the Road," that I really want to get into, I have to just go back a little bit to last year, and when we were talking in the fall, just about the fall of 2025. I mean, what an amazing year that must have been for you. So looking back, what are just some of the highlights for you from last year?
Well, I guess several. One would be just the response to our albums. We had two albums that we released in a 9 month period. Our original album, our debut, which was Stuck in the Mud, it received the best new artist debut album by Blues Blast magazine. That's super cool.
Wow.
And then we released Live in Clarksdale, a show that we filmed, we recorded, and we did right from the Juke Joint Chapel in Clarksdale, Mississippi. So that was a ball. Both of those showed up in the top 100 blues albums of the year for 2025, which no other artist had two. I guess nobody was stupid enough to release two albums in the same year, but we did, and that was super cool. And then I had really a fun experience releasing a couple of Christmas songs. One was an original I wrote and recorded with Emma Wilson from the UK, who
Oh,
happened to
yeah.
be in the US, great blues singer. I said, "Hey, Emma, if you're here and I wrote a song, would you record with me?" And we did it in Memphis. I did it with Al Green's backing band, the great Al Green R&B player,
Wow.
at Royal Studios, which is where Al Green made all that magic happen. So to have the high rhythm section behind me, that's a dream come true. So all of this is, and then stuff like being on your show, and I genuinely mean that, to have people like say, "Hey, this is worth talking about," is really cool.
No, that's great. And that the other thing that I have to mention is, and I've been blessed with having so many talented people like yourself on here, but it's one thing for someone to be talented and have success. And also, there's a lot of people talk about sometimes it's quantity over quality or quality over quantity. So to your earlier point, two albums in one year in the top 100, that's quality and quantity. So I just wanted to throw that out there just for a minute.
Well, I appreciate it, and that's just fun. When you make this kind of music, you're like, well, we like it, and your mom likes it, but will anybody else like it? And that's really rewarding because there's so many great artists in every genre out there, and just
Yeah.
for the DJs and the streamers out there in the world to pay attention is it's really pretty cool.
That really is. And now I want to fast forward into 2026, and you've got the reissuance of a song, "Soul on the Road,"
Yeah.
that's coming out in recognition of a very special day that's coming up in mid-May. So I want to ask initially, Chris, what inspired the song in the first place? And tell us about the reissuance of the song and that very special day honoring truckers coming up in the middle of the month.
Yeah, this is a song about truckers. It's a tribute, man. It's called Soul on the Road, and it got started in a little bit of a weird way. It was in 2022. I happened to be in Clarksdale, Mississippi, where I go to write songs. I was sitting on the front porch of my shack that I stay in down there, and it is indeed a shack. And I saw a fella packing up and leaving, and I kind of closed my eyes and thought about, man, there's a lot of people who pack up every day and leave, and I don't know why. In my mind, it turned into a trucker, and
Yeah.
and the first words that came out of my brain was, "I met a fella," and I imagined this fellow was a trucker, and he told me his life story. So I sat on that porch, and I had a piece of paper, and maybe an hour later, the lyrics were done, and it just told
Wow.
the story about something I never really thought about. But this person leaving, kind of a faceless person that I'd never met, I didn't know who he was, and I didn't know where he was going. And I thought, man, that really describes truckers, which we see them out there, right? But we don't think about them, and so it just kind of out of the blue turned into this sort of tribute song to these souls on the road who live in front of what I call a windshield movie. Man, it's just
Yeah.
moving by them every day. So that's where it came from. It was kind of weird. It just kind of hit me.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the video, which I love, and folks, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Watch that Soul on the Road video. So it's got, some great guitar work there. It's got you singing, but also there's that video story of the trucker. And it's a
Yeah, we
nice
had fun making
compilation of
that.
cutting back and forth. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was an advertising guy for a long time, Bill, and so I really love everything and anything involved with music and videos
Yeah.
and just creative production. So we had a ball doing that. We recorded it pretty much live in Clarksville, Mississippi. Just myself and Carrie Hudson on guitar, who I wrote the song with, and so it was really a lot of fun to do it. It was fun in that we recorded the thing, and the rest of the guys in the band, they didn't get to play on that song, but they hung around and listened. And probably one of the most thrilling things for me was when we were done recording, they clapped. And I'm not saying that to do anything other than
Wow.
it made Carrie and I kind of tear up. I'm not even kidding you. He and I looked at each other and we had tears in our eyes. We're like, man, there's something special about making music, and so that's that
Yeah.
song, man.
No, that I can see where that would definitely touch the heart because I don't know of anything more powerful, than a reaction like that. And like you said, they weren't even playing on the song. So I think that's a true sign of respect and appreciation for sure. And speaking of respect and appreciation, and I also want to add awareness. So I have to
Yeah,
admit that I didn't even know. I mean, there's so many different days that we have
yeah,
during the
yeah.
year, but I didn't know that there was a National Defense Transportation Day on May
Well, I'm not sure I
15th.
did either, but this thing got me thinking. The song we released a few years ago, and it sort of has picked up traction. And then
Yeah.
it's like, this kind of trucker world is a lot bigger. And yeah, there's the National Defense Transportation Day, which is the third Friday in May, which is May
Yeah.
15th. And, I learned that about 70% of the stuff that's shipped around in the U.S. goes on trucks. I had no idea. And what is it? There's 8 million jobs that are supported by trucking, and I'm just looking at my stats here. 3.5 million truck drivers. So
Wow.
that's a lot of people, and I just kind of mind-boggling. So I knew nothing about truck drivers other than being on the road. I filled up gas at the other day. When I head up to Chicago, there's a little truck stop, and I'll get gas there. And for the first time ever, I was like, what? I'm going to drive around the back. I never do. I go in the front where the Popeyes chicken is, and I fill up my car. And I drove around the back, and it was like I couldn't believe it. It was like another world. It had to be 100 of these trucks parked, and I just thought of every one of those is a soul on the road. One of these people who gets up every
Yeah.
day and does this thing. Some of them, I'm sure, were sleeping there. Some of them had just eaten in the truck stop, and
Yeah.
we're going to get some sleep and go. And I just rolled by, and it's like, look at all of this going on, and it's just like the millions of dollars in trucks and the enormity of what they're shipping. It was just kind of blew me away. It's just this little truck stop in kind of the middle of nowhere, and that's
Yeah.
going on thousands of times a day. and it's kind of a big deal, and it makes me feel a little better about that song that it just sort of hit me, and it was fun to take a spin around the truck stop, and
No,
I encourage
absolutely.
people to do it. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think that one of the, somewhat positive things to come out of the whole, disaster that was the pandemic a few years ago was there was the appreciation, obviously, for first responders, for our medical professionals. But I remember a lot of recognition of truckers, and all of a sudden, to your point earlier about all the volume, all the things we need every day, that without those men and women out there driving those miles, without those souls on the road, we don't have
Yeah,
food on our table.
yeah. And as a musician, we think about streaming and what's going on with music, but a heck of a lot of people listen to radio, and a heck of a lot of those people are truckers out there.
Yes.
And I know that, some of them, and it's fun, like on my YouTube or Facebook, people will write in, they'll say, I'm a trucker, man. And it's like, it's great. I mean, I love that you're doing this, and that's kind of fun. It's good for radio that these guys are out there, and we make music, and they listen to us, and that's really great for all us musicians out here.
No, it sure is. And folks, I just want to throw in right now that, again, I highly encourage you to watch the video on YouTube, Soul on the Road, and obviously pick up the song wherever you get your music, and check out Chris's other music as well. Because, again, as we mentioned earlier, 2 albums in the top 100 last year. You've got a lot of great songs to pick from, including some great live hits and other videos, that are out there that are fantastic as well. So I just want to make sure that I mention that. And now I just want to pivot to looking ahead just a little bit.
Yeah,
We're entering into May here, not quite the
yeah.
halfway point of the year, but what do your fans have to look forward to the rest of 2026?
It just continues. I think this little treadmill I'm on speeds up, Bill. I got asked by a producer in Nashville some months ago, 3, 4 months ago, hey, do you want to do some music for television and for film? And so I have spent the last several months in recording studios in Nashville, a couple of times at Tennessee, and here in Indianapolis, making original music for TV and film. I can't tell you where any of that is at this point,
Okay.
as far as anything to announce, but it's just kind of a new thing. And, I had plans to go out and do some performing, but I'll tell you what, I'm writing songs just about every day of the year now. And it seems like every couple of weeks I'm ending up in a studio recording something
Wow.
new. Now let's go fast forward. Here in about 3 weeks, I will go to Mississippi. I'll meet my co-writer and producer, Ralph Carter. In this binder right here, we're going to go back to Muscle Shoals. I don't know if you can
Ah,
see it. And that's where we recorded our original album. And I got about a dozen of them in that binder that I've written. And Ralph and I write lyrics. Ralph is my music, and we collaborate. He helps me on the words, and I collaborate on the music. So I got a few more songs. I want to get about 20 written, and I got another week and a half or so
okay.
to do it. So I gotta produce a few more songs. So we will record a new original album later this year in Muscle Shoals, and then I have another project that's really special to me. There were a couple of great blues artists from Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where I am talking to you right here. It's my hometown. They were one of the first million selling recording artists in America back in 1928 with their song How Long Blues.
Wow.
It's Leroy Carr and Scrapper Blackwell, which nobody knows today, but they lived most of their life here in Indianapolis. And we're going to record an album here in Indianapolis, the 10 of their best, and we're going to release it as well. So here I go again. I'm going to try to release 2 new albums here in the next 9 to 12 months. One of them a tribute to Leroy Carr and the great Scrapper Blackwell from Indianapolis. And then another one of our original songs, which are yet to be created, but
Okay.
they're very close.
Well, I'll tell you what, then, what that tells me, Chris, is there's going to be at least 2 more opportunities over the next 6 to 12 months for us to get back together again and talk about what you've got going on then.
It will be fun. And I'd love to come and do it in person and take a dip in that pool,
Oh, yeah.
Bill.
Well, I'll tell you what, anytime you're anywhere near Southwest Florida, Fort Myers area ish, we can definitely work on coordinating something. And, if you and the tellers are ever anywhere within driving distance that I can get to, I'd love to come, see you guys as well. So, but I'm just so excited to hear about the new projects. And, the best, what is it? An object in motion stays in motion, right? And you said it's speeding up on that treadmill.
It is. I don't want to slow down. You know this, Bill. I know this. We don't know. We don't know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah.
We just know what we have today. And I
Yes.
have a great opportunity that's been put in front of me to make music. And anytime somebody calls me or that they want to do something, I can't help it. I say yes. And and away we go.
Yeah.
And like to talk to you, people say, "Hey, can you talk?" Yes, I can talk. I love doing this, and I love what you do for all of us out here who are making music, Bill. It's really
Well, thank you.
important. I can't thank you enough, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to talk a little bit about what we do with you.
Well, Chris, I really appreciate that. And like I said, I couldn't think of a better person to kick off the new studio, and also a more patient and flexible person to deal with the issues that we ran into. But you know what? The show must go on. The show did go on. And this is just part two in what will be many chapters of our continuing ongoing conversations. So I wish you all the best with the new projects you're working on. And I'm sure by the time we talk about them, there'll be 2 or 3 more.
It's great, Bill. Best wishes to you. Very cool new studio. Go get 'em, man. Love what you do.
All right, will do. Thank you so much. And folks, thank you for watching. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. We'll see you next time.
I met a fella, he told a story about life on the road, of trucking, toting boxes, but never carrying no load. Feet always moving, and roots that never grow. A mark never left, no place to go. I met a fella, he lived his days collecting miles, not friends. No wife, no kids, just a road that never ends. He said he once had dreams of a house and a yard, and feet in one place, 9 to 5, working hard. When your life is the road, and the road is your life, you live a windshield movie. And what the heck's an ex-wife? Regrets, yeah, I have them. He said I am what I am. A soul on the road, next stop, Birmingham. I met a fella, he's in a hurry. He said, I gotta go. Cargo to move. This here's the show. Well, I'd like to get to know you, but those days have passed me by. But don't you worry about me, home's the sweet by and by. When your life is the road, and the road is your life, you live a windshield movie. And brother, what the hell is an ex-wife? Regrets, yeah, I have them. He said I am what I am. A soul on the road, next stop, Birmingham. He said a soul on the road, next stop, Birmingham.